In today's video, we talk about what it takes to get elite levels of shredded. What's going on, guys? This is Paul Revelia from ProPhysique.com coming to you live from my garage gym in Tampa, Florida. And yes, it's a nice 82 degrees today, so I get to wear a tank top. For today's video, I want to discuss something that has recently come back in my mind. You see, last week I attended the LA Fit Expo and got to see some amazing physiques. They actually had a competition there at the expo. They had the top 5 bodybuilding.com spokesmodel search, and the guys were looking shredded. And I know when we see that, we want that. I know when we see somebody that has an amazing physique, we think to ourselves, I'm gonna do that. And that's what inspired me initially the first time. And so when I go to these events, I think to myself, gosh, I really would like to look as lean as those guys do on stage. But there's always something in the back of my mind reminding me just what it takes to get to that place. So my goal for today's video, and talking about just what it takes to get to that elite level of conditioning where every single muscle seems to pop, where no matter what you do, you look shredded, you wake up shredded, and you just have detail in every single inch of your body. I want to set some realistic expectations because I feel like if you know more about what to expect, you can handle it a little bit better. Because it's not just a physical battle, it's quite psychological. And there are some things that happen that I want to discuss, such as, changes to personality, changes to your focus on things, changes to your, external ability to participate in society. And I just want to set some realistic expectations. But at the same time, I don't want anyone to fear this. You see, even though I've gone through this journey and multiple times gotten to very low body fat levels, I've learned something valuable each time. And I've also learned that it's only temporary. And so when people would say to me, I can't believe you have the dedication to track your meals every day, or train and do your cardio and all these things. Well, a lot of it was just already an extension of my personality to begin with, loving fitness. But also, I look at all those things, eating, training, as a means to an end. So it's not necessarily, to me, dedication. It's just a part of the process. And there's always that caveat that at any time you can eat whatever you want. The food will always be there. And we can always put body fat back on and feel better. We can always reverse the changes that happen during this process. So let's start with that. And let me tell you the first thing to expect when you try to get shredded. All right, so let's talk about the diet. And when I talk about diet, the nutrition aspects, I'll also include the discussion on cardio. So as you know, you're going to have to restrict calories to get lean. But here's what I don't want to happen. There is no reason to go extreme right from the beginning. You see, I don't believe in fat loss that happens in extreme manner, because extreme fat loss usually has an extreme rebound effect. I was lucky in that my first coach educated me on this process. And I've also been someone who's always looked for answers. And so I found a philosophy I agreed with. And that was basically that we wanted to lose about 1%, maybe 1.5% of my body weight early on in the phase of fat loss. And the benefits of that were that I was able to sustain fat loss longer, and that I was able to eat more calories and continue training at a higher level throughout the fat loss phase. So what happens when we start restricting calories? Well, early on in the first 6, 8, 10 weeks of restricting calories, I actually found an improvement in my training, an improvement in my mood, an improvement in my just overall well-being. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that I was seeing changes. I was seeing steady progress on the scale, 1 to 2 pounds a week. And when you start losing body fat, another strange things happen. You start to actually look bigger. You have more detail, a little more vascularity. And early on, you haven't reached that place where you're below your body's natural set point and some negative things start to happen. So that first phase, you can call that phase 1 if you want, that first 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks, however long that lasts, until you reach your set point or slightly below, is kind of euphoric. It's enjoyable. You're seeing progress. You're seeing changes visually on the scale. People are responding. Your training is still great. You feel great. So what's next? Well, when we get to phase 2, that's when we start to get to the grinding phase. That's when we notice some low energy days. That's when calories can start to be an issue, and when we can start to be a little bit food focused, food centric. Our thoughts start to wander and they become a little bit more focused on the idea of hitting our calories for the day, what foods can we eat. This is where flexible dieting was very valuable for me. You see, my first coach actually prescribed a flexible approach, and so that really allowed me to kind of, if I was craving something, find a way to fit it in and not be so focused on hitting the same 6 or 7 foods every single day and getting sick of food. I was able to work in some foods. That said, there gets a point when you're in this phase 2 where it doesn't matter, where you're never gonna feel full. You're gonna have some low energy days. And this is where you start to see some changes, likely in the hormones like leptin and ghrelin, where your hunger is elevated even when you eat. When energy is lower in the gym, test levels probably start to drop a little bit. And overall, you just start to notice you have some good days and bad. This is phase 2. And this is where also the psychology becomes an issue, because the issue actually becomes people thinking, you know what, they start to see you look a little smaller in your clothes, because when you have less body fat, you fill out your clothes a little less. You see a little more detail in the face, so people start to think that you're losing weight. They might actually say things to you like, hey, have you lost weight? Which, when you're a bodybuilder, you want to hear, hey, have you gotten leaner? But when you hear, hey, have I lost weight? Psychologically for me, as someone who was always trying to gain weight in the gym, that was a struggle, dealing with that fact. This is what helped me get through that struggle. Maybe it'll help you. I was able to, after my workouts, go in the locker room, take off my shirt, pose, take some pictures, take a little time to actually visualize myself, and I noticed the improvements I was seeing. Sure, the clothes were fitting a little funny. I didn't look the same at work. The people around me thought I looked different. And so here's 2 things you can do. One is make sure you're doing some posing and checking yourself out on a daily basis in the mirrors, and also start looking at buying some new clothes. You see, I was used to wearing XLs and 2XLs, and I started wearing larges and extra larges and found that a little more athletic fitting clothing did my body good. I wasn't necessarily hiding some fluffiness underneath, and I had a little bit more athletic appearance, and I felt better because the clothes were a little more form-fitting. So that was a big key for me. So that's getting through phase 2. You're grinding through. Now, when we start getting to elite levels of body fat, when we're talking about 5%, 6%, whatever arbitrary number you want to put it at. Basically, the picture you see on this thumbnail where I was striated glutes, split hamstrings, I mean, there was very little body fat on my body at all. You know, I don't want to put a number on it, but let's just say stage shredded. When you start getting to that, we'll call that phase 3. This is where everything pretty much sucks. It almost feels like you have the flu several days a week. You notice low energy, you're short-tempered with those around you. Test levels drop, sex drive gone. Now, this might all sound terrible, and part of it is. For a lot of the day I would feel terrible, but again, I had a goal in mind. I had a goal to get on stage and compete as a pro natural bodybuilder and bring some conditioning that was elite enough that I felt that I should be a part of the process. And I got to that place, and that was 4 years ago. And that's what I want to talk about with a lot of you guys, is the competition should not happen that frequently. If you're going to get into elite level of conditioning, if you're going to go through this phase 3 where you are just digging and digging for every single ounce that you can possibly get out of your body, where you're almost suffering, you become so focused on food, so focused on your training that nothing else really matters, I don't think that you should be doing it that often. You see, no matter how much I tried to be flexible with my lifestyle, spend time with my friends, I had to start paying more attention to my goal at hand. That had to be my priority for a short time. And sure, for a few weeks, maybe a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it was, over the course of that year, I dieted for 24 weeks. Whatever it was for that short period of time, I sacrificed for the greater good. For myself personally, if I'd have given up, not gotten that lean, and had to look back and think to myself, well, I could have done better, that wouldn't have been good for me right here. And also, you know, I get to now be a part of a rare breed of people that have gotten to that place. And it's something that I take great pride in. And for that reason, I'm not going to do it again until 2018. And that's going to be 6 years between getting truly stage lean. See, you know, last year I did a men's physique show, got nice and lean, but I didn't get to that place where I call phase 3, where I was completely shredded and the psychology completely changes. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's what you can expect. You can expect low calories, below 10 times your body weight in calories, elevated cardio, whatever it takes. Everyone's different. Some people can get lean easier, but I promise you at the end of the day, when you get your body fat that low, when you get into phase 2 and phase 3, things are just going to suck a bit, and you have to expect it. The psychology comes into play. Can you do it? Can you push through? Is it worth it? And these are things you're gonna have to answer for yourself. But if you can always play the game, thinking about down the road, what you wanna look back on, that got me through some really tough days. Knowing how many days were left until the show, how many weeks, being able to count down, being able to look at pictures of other bodybuilders that I was competing against, and knowing what they were gonna bring to the stage really helped me. Hopefully, guys, this helps you. If you have any questions below, please let me know. I'd love to answer specifics about just what it takes to get to this place. Granted, I'm not the leanest guy that's ever been, but I got pretty damn lean, and I was very happy with the product. My goal for 2018 is to bring an even better package. The cool thing is, now that I'm using this type of material to document, it's going to be an even cooler process because I'll be able to document it, and you know, hopefully I'll enjoy that process as well. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really excited for all the new subscribers that I've gotten. The LA Fit Expo and all the events that have happened early on this year have been wonderful. I can't wait for the Arnold coming in March. See you all there. We'll talk soon. Bye.